Hello and welcome to Business Marketing Online at the University of Central Oklahoma in the summer 2017 semester. I'm looking forward to working with you this summer to make this a productive course. Many of you may have signed up for this course when Dr. Gooch was listed as the instructor of record, and you were thinking that Dr. Gooch was going to be the professor that would be helping you through this summer's course. However, unfortunately for all of us at UCO, Dr. Gooch decided to retire this year, and so I inherited his course. The good news for you is that if you are used to Dr. Gooch's style, most of the content and the backbone of this course was already developed by Dr. Gooch, and he was kind enough to share that with me. And so if you are used to his method of doing things, and you've taken courses with him before, a lot of this will be familiar to you. I wanted to take this time to make a short introductory video and familiarize you with a number of the things in the course. I've started by opening up the course's homepage in Desire to Learn, or D2L, UCO's learning management system. And so there are a couple of things that I wanted to point out to you in this introductory video so that you can get off to a good start this semester and start working right away, because in the summer semester we have a shortened schedule, and so everything is compressed, and a lot of times we have time compression issues. And so I want you to be able to get up and running on the first day. This is an online course, and so you can do this course from anywhere in the world that you have an internet connection. This is the home page of the course, and there's a news item, and you can see right now there are no news items, but I do like to use the news item feature to communicate with students and the class as a whole, so you'll want to keep an eye out for news postings that I've posted there. I oftentimes will talk about videos that I've posted or things like that that might be of interest to you. From time to time I may involve you in critical thinking challenges that you will have an opportunity to earn extra credit for, and I usually post those in the news item, so I take advantage of the news item a lot. If you click on the Content tab on D2L, it will take you to the course content, and you should start with the Welcome to Business Marketing. And what you get here is you can see the welcome. This is the Welcome to Business Marketing video that you're watching right here, that you can watch by clicking on. I also am going to send this link out to you by email, so most of you will probably have gotten it before you have gotten access to the course. Really important, the course title and description. You should know what course you're in already. It's amazing to me how many students actually know by course numbers, and they don't remember what titles that they were taking, but it's important. So this is Business Marketing 3443, and then this course description tells you what the course is about, where we're going to be going. It gives you the bird's eye view of the course outline, or course overview. Click and go back. There is a PDF about me, why I'm qualified to teach this course. In a face-to-face class, I often do introductions, and one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to the class. One of the things that we know from the literature on online learning is that students oftentimes don't feel like they're connected to anything, that it's basically a high-tech correspondence course, and they feel like they have to do most of it themselves, and there isn't a sense of a community of inquiry. That's one of the things that the pedagogy literature talks a lot about, is the pedagogy literature. So I will introduce myself. This is my introduction. You can see my teaching philosophy, my education, and things like that. And I'm going to ask you to share with the class so that we can create this sense of a community of inquiry as well. Contacting me. How we're going to communicate this semester. I check the email on D2L frequently. If you send email to my normal email address, I will also respond to that. However, I may be lost in the voluminous amount of email that I receive to that account. I've had that account for over 20 years. I got it when I became the Associate General Counsel at the University of Central Oklahoma, which is one of my first jobs at UCO. And so I get a voluminous amount of junk email and things like that to that, and so I don't want to lose your email. So if you use the D2L email, I'll be sure and get it, because I only have 2 classes this semester, and so it's easier for me to find students' email. I also give you, and this is really important, I know that your generation likes to text, and so I've given you my cell phone number. Often you will find that I will text back much faster than I will respond to email. During the summer, like many of you, I will be traveling some, I will be working on research, and so I may not have access to a laptop. I always have access to my phone, and so I give you this number. Don't hesitate to text me. If you send me an email and it is I haven't responded to it, you might send me a text and say, hey, I sent you an email. Could you let me know? I'll try and respond to all emails within 48 hours, except on weekends or holiday weekends. We've got a holiday weekend coming up in this class that's 4th of July, and so I generally say the 48 hours is business hours, not actual days. So if you send it on to me on Saturday, I'm probably not going to get to it until Monday. Or if you send it at midnight on Friday night, I'm probably not going to get to it on Monday. If it's an emergency, you're welcome to text me. And then the textbook that's required. So there's a nice picture of the textbook. This is what it looks like. It's by Vitale. And I also give you the ISBN, so you should be able to find it. Dr. Gooch, in his intro video, says to students that I'm using the textbook that Dr. Gooch chose. He selected the textbook before I became the instructor of record, and I'm going to keep his textbook. And so this is the textbook. There are lots of ways to get it out there. If you're looking for a cheaper way than the bookstore, I provide you with that information, or rather, actually, Dr. Gooch provided you with that information. And so be sure and get that. You'll need it for the exams and to do well in this class. In many instances, a lot of times students will say, I'm not doing well in your class, and I'll say, did you buy the textbook? And they'll say, well, no, I didn't think I needed it. And yeah, it's kind of important. So the next tab, or the next module tab on the table of contents, is the orientation. This will give you preparation for online learning, and there's an orientation quiz. You have to take the orientation quiz within the first 2 weeks of the start of class, but don't be confused. There are things that are due before the orientation quiz is actually due, so you need to take that for the first 2 weeks of class, but there are other things that are due before then. It would be helpful if you take this sooner rather than later, but if nothing else, you need to make sure to get it done by the first 2 weeks. But there are other things, the first module, that you'll need to start working on immediately. Here's where you're going to tell us about you. Post a self-introductory message so that we can create this community inquiry so that we know who else is in the class with us, and so you can not feel necessarily so isolated, which is one of the things that, again, the literature suggests happens with online learning, is that students have this sense of isolation. There is also a question and answer discussion forum here. You can post questions here and I will answer them, or maybe one of your other classmates knows the answer and they can post, or they can see. You can see if somebody else has had a similar problem, and you can look at those, and that's open to everybody, and so I wanted to bring that to your attention as well. The really important one, the third module tab down, is the course syllabi, course information, and business research. So this is the syllabi. A lot of times students will ask me about due dates. All of that is in the syllabus. So a lot of times my response to things like, when is something due, will be, that's actually in the syllabus. So you can see, again, the course objectives, the learning outcomes, and if you scroll down, and you can also download this so that you can keep a copy or print it out if you want. The grading criteria, what we'll be doing in terms of quizzes and stuff like that. And then if you keep scrolling, you get to the course schedule at the bottom of the syllabus. So I know the syllabus is a rather lengthy document. When I was an undergraduate, before we had a lot of online learning and things like that, professor syllabi, and when I first started teaching 22 years ago, my syllabi was pretty much one page. It basically said, here's the textbook, here's the location of my office, and here's my number and my email, and sort of here's a bullet points of the course outline. They've now become a much more lengthy document, but it answers a lot of the questions that you might have about procedures, not necessarily substance in the course, but procedures and when things are due. And so you can see the schedule in this grid and the due dates for various things. So be sure and take a look at that. Keep up with the due dates that are listed in the syllabus. Those are important, particularly in a summer course where it is a really condensed time frame. Here is a business-to-business research video project link. The guidelines, a lot of questions about the guidelines. If you have questions about the research project, it's best that you ask those early rather than later so that I can address those. It's not necessarily a good thing. I know that students, and I have to admit that I did this myself as an undergraduate, would have a tendency to procrastinate and put things off. It can be absolutely fatal in a summer course to do that. So if you have questions about things, about the research guides and things like that, please contact me as soon as possible. Then after you go through these 3 tabs, then you start with Module 1. So I hope this has been an informative video. I hope it helps you. If you have questions, again, please feel free to email me or text me. Or, I know your generation doesn't like this, but you can actually call me. If you do call me, please leave a voice message so I will know to call you back. I generally do not return calls unless there's a voice message because I'm just not prompted to call people back. I assume that maybe it's a salesman. I know that even though you're on the do not call list anymore, you get solicitation phone calls from on your cell phone even though you're on the do not call list. So again, I hope you have a good time this summer in this class. I hope you learn a lot. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Don't hesitate to contact me. During the summer, I travel quite a bit, but if you want to meet with me, my office is in Thatcher Hall in the 3rd floor. It's room 340, and I'll be happy to set up a time to meet with you. Or if you like Skype, we can Skype, or if you have an iPhone, I can also FaceTime with you if you need to ask questions that you'd like to have an actual discussion with me about. So those are some ways and methods that you can contact me, an overview of the course. Again, welcome to Business Marketing, and I want to take this final opportunity to thank Dr. Gooch for all of his help with this course, and I hope that he's having a good summer on his first summer after retirement. Have a good summer. Thanks.